I mean, art and politics are tied together, whether we like it or not, because everybody who is either a visual artist or writer or filmmaker or whatever comes from somewhere and is shaped by a society, and their perceptions are shaped by the structure of the society they grow up in. Therefore, they are a child of their time, inevitably. And they reflect that in their work, what they think is important, what they strive to do, and they illuminate that society whether they want to or not, usually. So I think it's a kind of inextricably linked. I didn't really choose it. I fell into it by accident because I'd been an actor, rather a bad actor. Worked in the theatre, worked in television. Films was the next medium after television wasn't really able to do the work we wanted to do. Film is a magnificent medium because you have writing, you have performance, you have narrative, you have conflict, you have the resolution of the conflict, you have all the elements of drama, with a visually exciting medium as well, with much more variety than the theatre. So it's it's a very powerful medium, and what is interesting now is that we don't do justice to that medium because the film is seen as simply a commercial enterprise, by and large, and that's very limiting. And it's as though all the art galleries were just full of like contemporary American paintings. I mean, we'd say this isn't a proper art gallery, but that's the reality of our cinema. Or if the libraries were only full of airport novels, we'd say this isn't a very good library. And yet cinema, which could be so diverse, is very limited in what it offers. So I think one question for the next generation of filmmakers is, how do we rescue the cinema from the ownership and control of the big corporations and studios? Well, I mean, I think cinema is. It has as you would expect, the concentration on commerce has just got more extreme, and the range of films, commercial films that are made, it gets narrower, because that's the way capitalism works. Like the number of car manufacturers gets fewer, and all cars tend to be the same. And it's the same with films. I mean, there are one or two types of commercial film, and that's it. So the choice has got narrower. The possibility of seeing French, Italian, German films has got less, because of the tendency to monopoly. Our position in Britain as a cultural colony of the States has got more marked. So I think everything has got more intense, really. The trend is the same, but it's now more extreme. So I think the European cinema tradition is much wider, and it's also deeper than American commercial films. And European films, you do sense they have a history, whereas American films, it is what it is at that moment. It's the film to exploit the audience this month or next month. So I think there is a big difference, but because the Americans have been very good at exploiting their product, as they call it. I mean, the cinemas where you see films is primarily a commercial place. I mean, it's a place where you pay money, you use or you take the product off the screen, you buy the popcorn. It's a transaction. Primarily, it's a commercial transaction. But the film will reflect something of the society we're in. Even if it tries to be pure escapism, it will reflect something of the world about us. So it will interpret the world, and so it'll either endorse it or criticize it, or maybe a mixture of the two. And the problem with most films is and with most events that happen in cinema, they're entirely passive, and the film washes over us, and we consume the popcorn and then leave, and it's as though nothing has happened. But nevertheless, films either challenge or they endorse, you know. And so if they challenge, then that's good. They ask you questions. If they endorse, well, you walk away none the wiser. If it works by the audience having some solidarity with the characters, and then engaging with the ideas in the film. I mean, I think films that just show people as victims and say, look at these poor people, isn't it sad, isn't going to change anybody politically at all. I think there has to be something in the structure of the film, in the narrative, in the characters, in the conflict, that suggests that some indication of a way forward. So I think you would hope that the audience would first of all have solidarity with the characters, and then engage with the ideas. The text of the films, the text of the film should have the ideas embedded in it, so that somewhere in that there is there's an analysis and a suggestion of a way forward, a way through it, or a hint at forces that could make the change, a hint at where change can come from. Films are only films. I mean, they're not a political movement. You know, a film can ask a question, or it can put an alternative perspective. But to carry it further outside the cinema, then you need a political movement that is organised, that has a leadership with a good analysis that can move the forces forward that can effect change. So it's don't you remember the old saying from the American left, the old slogan of agitate, educate, organise. Well, films can agitate a little bit. They can't really educate, and they can organise not at all. So let us do what we can, which is agitate. But once you get out of the cinema, for God's sake, get organised.
Are you a politician?
No, I mean, a politician is someone who spends their life in pursuit of a political agenda. I don't do that. But equally, you can't be in the world and not try to understand it, which I guess is all we've tried to do.